Welcome to Behind the Pint with Spicy, the show where Spicy, well, that's me, sits down with regular people and has a real heart to heart interview, man. And today, I've got a very, very, very good friend of mine. He's from very far away. His name is Youseff Muhammad. Youseff, welcome to the show, brother. It's so good to finally have you here, man.
Thank you so much for inviting me to this show again, brother. I really appreciate that.
We've been trying to get this happening for so long, but technical difficulties, and you know how it all goes. So finally, we put it together, and here we are. I think it's what, 9 o'clock my time. What time is it over there with you, man?
All right, now it's 7 a.m.
Wow, too many hours, bro. So where are
hmm
you, man? Where do you live? Tell the people.
Oh, well, I live in Kuwait at the moment. I got raised here, but I'm originally from Egypt.
So you used to like Egypt. That's so cool, dude. So you used to like see the pyramids all the time. Like, was that something you'd see every day?
Well, I could see the pyramids on the highway. Like, if I'm traveling on the highway, I can see the pyramids, but I didn't visit the pyramids before, like, just to visit them because I got lazy. It's like, yeah, the pyramids is there. It's not gonna go anywhere.
It's funny, right? Like how we live somewhere and it may have something famous and we never go.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it's just like you don't have the time or you don't have the mood right now to visit them, but you just see the pyramids from like the highway. Maybe you're traveling in the traffic and you just see it on the side or something, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Right. I live near the beach and I never go to the beach. Isn't that crazy? We moved here
pretty,
to go to the beach. We never go.
pretty much. This is how it feels like something valuable. It's beside you. You don't really value the most of it when it's near you or you have it still, but when you don't have it, you value it again.
Right? I think that's with anything in life, though, right? Whether it's like an electronic or a toy or a girl, you know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it is.
Okay, so let's jump to the meat and potatoes of this thing, bro. So you were raised in Kuwait, um, after being born in Egypt. What's it like over there, man? Like I'm somebody who lives in sunny California, so it's like two different worlds.
Well, so in Kuwait, it's very modern. Everybody is on his matter. Everybody minding his own business here. It's very modern in here. It's a very rich country. Like Kuwait is one of the most richest countries in the world, and they have the most strongest currency in the world, which is the Kuwait dinar. And one Kuwait dinar right now, it's 340 2024. Right now, the Kuwait dinar is $3 and a half, something like that. That's how it equals.
Wow,
Um,
really?
yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's the
Wow, that's
strongest
crazy.
currency. Yeah, and things is cheap here. Like things is not expensive. You can buy whatever electronics you need, whatever vehicle models you need. I mean, it's a very it's like Dubai. It's like Dubai 2.0 pretty much.
Okay,
Um,
so more modern than I would have expected then.
it is modern, and you get whatever you need here. The problem here is like finding jobs. Like right now, I'm a resident. I have a visa here.
Uh huh.
So technically, you call it a green card over there in the U.S. I do have a green card here. Um, and it's really hard to find a job, to be honest. That's the important part.
What's the main source of income for people? Like, what's the main jobs? Like, is it tech? Is it what?
Um, so basically, the main is gonna be um, well, it's multiple main things that there's people get the source from, which is gonna be the tech, the administration, work, like basically accounting, HR, um, um, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because here they don't really have much science going on, and their colleges and universities here, it's based on business. Like if you want to get a
Oh,
master, yeah,
yeah.
if you want to get a master, you have to go somewhere else. You're not gonna really like find big master. The most you can find is the MBA. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's the most.
Right. Right. So everybody that goes to school or higher education, like college and that, most of them look towards corporate jobs.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's a lot of people here, like half of the people doesn't have a college degree here, to be honest. And the people who have college degree, they get a higher salary, better job opportunities and stuff like that.
I think it's the same on both sides of the world, right?
It is the same, but here it's very, very strict. What I mean by that is you can't get a driving license without a bachelor degree. You can't have a specific job,
Whoa,
or
whoa,
you
whoa!
can't
Let's
get a
go back to that.
specific.
Let's go. Oh, hold on. That's a big piece of
Uh,
news right there. You can't have a
yeah,
driver's license unless you have a degree.
yeah, and not only that, you have to have a certain amount of salary in order to get a driving license.
How does that work? Do they charge you for the license? Do you have to keep paying it, or do they just check and see what your job is?
So basically, you have to have any bachelor degree, right? That's the first thing. Now, the second requirement is that you have to have a salary that is equal or higher than 600 dinar. That's the second requirement.
Is that a week or a
And no,
month or what?
salary? No, that's monthly.
Monthly. Okay,
Mhm.
that's crazy, man. So how's the
Yeah,
gas
because
prices?
gas prices is not expensive. Like, for example, let's see. I mean, we fill up the car every week for like maybe 4 dinar around that price, I believe. And
So yeah, so that's
uh,
like what, less than $1.
yeah, we can calculate that. So we said that the Kuwait dinar is like $3 or something. So basically, it's around like $13. Yeah, around $13 a week.
That's
That's the gas
crazy.
price.
$13 a
Yeah, pretty much.
week. I put
Yeah,
ten
pretty much.
dollars in my car the other day, and I didn't get a quarter of a tank.
What the hell? Holy.
Well, I live in California, bro. The gas prices here, it was at like $6.19 the other day, a
Oh
gallon.
my God, a gallon.
A gallon.
Holy.
Yeah, man. They charge you through the butt up here, dude. But you guys are down there. Like, you guys have a very rich, oil-rich country, right? Hmm.
Kuwait is one of the, I believe Kuwait it is the most country that generate oils.
That's so awesome, man. So tell me about what it was like growing up as a child in. You started in Egypt, right? Where you were? What time? How old were you when you moved to Kuwait? Let's go there.
I was 8 years old when I moved to Kuwait. I moved with my mom because my father was working in Kuwait, and we moved to Kuwait so we can live together because my mom and my brother and me, we were separated from my father since the beginning of the war, and because he was in Kuwait working.
Now you're talking about the Iraq War, right? Like Operation Desert Storm and all that.
No, I wasn't born that time. I was born in 2001.
Oh, okay, man. I'm sorry. My bad. My bad. When I think about the war of,
Man.
see, I'm a little bit older than you, bro. I'm 46, and so when I hear about war over there, the only war that I think of is because that was like the main war of my time going through school was like that Operation Desert Storm and Desert Shield, all that.
Yeah, well, the only person who attended the war that time from my family is gonna be my grandpa, which is gonna be the father of and my mother and her siblings, and my grandma. They were here during the wartime in Kuwait because they used to live in Kuwait back in the day. I believe the war was like what,
In the night,
19,
I think it started in like
1970?
'91.
Yeah, somewhere like yeah. Um, uh, yeah, it's 1990. 1990.
I remember hearing it start. I was
Yeah.
I was in my dad's truck and we heard the war start. Like the news came on and like the war started in Iraq, and we were like, "What the hell's going on?"
Hmm.
And you and your
Yeah.
grandpa lived through that. He was all part of that, huh?
Yeah, well, it wasn't like destruction all over the place. It was like there's some, maybe you can find some snipers somewhere in the in the middle towns or something, or there's just on the border or on the highways there's tanks and stuff. Like it wasn't like shooting down houses left and right. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like that.
Okay.
It got stopped quick during a few days by other countries helping Kuwait, like the U.S., Egypt, Saudi Arabia, or other nations. You know.
Right, right. Okay. What was it you were telling me before the show started about your grandpa? Like he used to have to like drive through like snipers and whatnot?
Oh yeah. Well, my grandpa, he used to be an accountant, right? And he used to go to work in the morning, and they have it on the news where they say there's a martial law, right? And during
Okay.
that martial law, you have to go back home at 6 p.m. I believe 6 p.m., as far as I remember. Now, my father was a little bit late, right? So he went back six and a half, maybe seven, right? Around that time. And then the moment my grandpa, he pulled under the house, right? The moment he opens the door, bang! A sniper hits the door right away. He hits the windshield. And my grandpa was like, "What the hell?" And then he just goes into the car and he runs away. He goes from the other side. And then he goes into the house quick. He almost got sniped, but thanks God he's okay. He was okay that time.
I wish you could see my face, bro. My mouth is like hanging open right now. Really? He's shot the door of the car.
Yeah, the bullet hits the windshield right away. I mean, it could have
Oh
hit
my
him, you know.
goodness.
God bless that, you know.
So wow. I don't that's something I'll say, man. Growing up over here, we kind of have it cushy in America, dude. We get to sit back and I don't have to worry about, I mean, unless you're in the wrong part of town, somebody shooting out my window.
Ah, yeah, it's like extremely dangerous. A lot of people were. It was a crisis that day. It was the worst 2 days ever in that place. But now it's 180 degrees different.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
very Kuwait is one of the countries that went the American army to protect them for any possible threat that coming from the neighboring,
Well, sure,
countries
man.
like Iran or some other places like that.
So you grow up. Grandpa was an accountant. What'd your dad do?
My dad used to work. So my when I was born, right, or before I was born even, my dad used to be in Egypt. He used to work as a taxi driver. He used to work as random jobs. My dad doesn't have a bachelor degree, right?
Okay.
So
So he
yeah,
wasn't. He
so
didn't
he
have like a
used to.
profession.
Yeah, he doesn't have a profession. So, but his profession really, or his job really is around driving trucks, driving cars, driving things.
Okay,
My dad is really, yeah, he's a really good driver to be honest.
that's very cool, man. And what about your mom?
That time, I mean, my mom was young, but right now she's working as an insurance.
Okay, so she sells insurance. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
So,
my father right now, he is currently, if we're speaking about currently,
mhm.
he's working in a company called KDD, right? And he is working as a manager in the garage over there, managing people, doing the mechanic stuff because he have experience in mechanic and stuff like that.
Awesome, bro. That's super cool, man. So you grow up. You've got mom and dad. You move from Egypt all the way to Kuwait, and you're living your life. How is school, dude? Like, what's it like over there? Is it kind of like American school where you have like different subjects and you go to lunch and go to recess and all that? Like, what's it like, man?
Well, pretty much the same like that, but let's see. I used to be in school in Egypt when I was young, but I attended until the first grade, and then I stopped. Then I moved to Kuwait since, I told you I moved when I was 8 years old, and then I went to a Pakistani school, which I started with from the second grade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until I finished at the fifth grade, and then I moved to like an Egyptian school, but it was like managed by the embassy because we're taking like Egyptian stuff, right? Because I need an Egyptian degree from high school. But I didn't continue the Egyptian school because it was messed up. It was like it was hard and it was not on point. It was really messy to be honest with you, right? Um So but at the like I attended that until the high school, and the second grade in the high school, or like 11th grade, I believe,
Yeah.
I switched to a Kuwaitian school, high school, which is the 12th grade, which is the last grade, right? And and then from there I graduated. I took my degree, and then yeah, that's how I graduated high school.
So let's go back to high school then, bro. You guys, did you play any sports, or were you part of the theater club or any kind of extracurricular after school stuff?
Yes, I used to do karate. Um,
Oh, very cool. You black belt?
I went to the third brown belt. Um, that's the last thing I had. Then I was forced to go back to Egypt because of the college.
Okay. So for all the listeners out there, don't mess with Youseff, man. He'll kick your butt.
Yeah, pretty much. Be careful.
Man, it's been so long since we've sat and talked, man. I really miss you, bro.
Me too.
So you did the karate. Any kind of sports? Any other sports? Like what's the big sports over there? You got soccer or football, right? Like what you call football, soccer.
Football, yeah, soccer or football, whatever it is. Yeah, the one that you kick with your legs. That one.
Were you ever into that?
I believe. Um, Maybe when I was young, like 12, 13 years old, but not anymore. I don't like football at all. I don't like any balls. Any game that contains balls, I don't like it. It's just
Okay.
boring for me for some reason.
Really?
Boring. Yeah.
Crazy. Okay. Um, what about, do you guys have like theater club or like poetry club or anything like that over there? Places where people can sit and come up with new ideas?
Yeah, there is. There is. I mean, if you're talking about a place where you sit down and keep talking and talking and talking, this is the place for it, the place for yapping, pretty much. It's
Yeah.
here, coun- this country, like the Arabic country, pretty much. They have like a place called Diwania. It's like a place where they sit down and talk. And they could even bring up stuff during that talk, just a place to talk or drink stuff. It's like a hookah lounge.
Sure. Like our local bars here.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
I work in a bar. I'm a cook, and it's a brew
Oh,
pub. And I'll tell you, man, we got some locals here, and some of the stories you hear, and it's the same guy sitting around talking about the same stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Just over and over again. So one big part of the high school experience that every young man will tell you is dating. How did that work for you when you were in over there?
Oh, listen, man.
You had all the
That
girls,
part,
didn't you, bro?
dude, no shot, dude. There's
What?
multiple reasons for that, dude. I tell you why. I
Bro, I've
tell you
seen
why.
your
Listen.
picture, dude. You're a handsome bro.
Well, thank you.
I thought all the
But I
girlies
mean,
would be after Youssef, man.
dude, I don't even have a lot of friends as boys. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I barely get out of the house. I don't really have much to do here. I'll tell you why I don't even found my true love, during those years.
Yeah.
Um, the problem is that at that time, here the system in Kuwait, pretty much most of the schools here, right? They separate the boys from the girls. What I mean by that is, boys have a school and girls have a school. They both in a different precinct, right? Like they both are different buildings. Like there's like the same school, right? Same school name, but they have two divisions, right? One for boys, one for um girls. Because it's like an Islamic country, right? Like in Kuwait, it's an Islamic country. They don't like when boys and girls are like mixing very much together because you can be. Yeah, it's like it's haram. I don't know if you heard the word or the term haram. Haram is like
No, I
forbidden.
haven't.
Yeah, haram means haram in Islam or haram in Arabic means uh forbidden. It's forbidden,
So
right?
is that like how the
For
Christians, like when they do something bad, it's called like they committed a sin?
sand, pretty much the same thing here. So you can't be like mixing too much with girls because that would be considered like a sin because they say that the moment you mix up with a girl a lot, you start becoming friends, and then you start becoming dating, and then so on and so on and so on until you'll have sex before marriage, which is a big sin in our um is in our religion, which is Islam, right? So that's why they don't prefer mixing up to just avoid stuff like that. But the American schools here, or the English schools, or some Pakistani schools, even, like, they don't really care. They can mix people because that's not you know,
So
not
how are
like
you
part of the
supposed how are you
campus.
supposed to find love, dude?
Um, well, you gotta meet her somewhere. Maybe your neighbor, maybe, I don't know, or maybe your partner in the job, or maybe in the street, or maybe I don't know, bro. Like, it's not that easy to find a woman here, you know. Like,
I'm
it's very hard to find a chica here, you know. Like, it's very very hard.
I'm getting that, dude. Wow. Okay, so what were your interests in school? Like what did you really like to study?
Oh, physics.
Really? You like the
Yes.
physics? Which there's a ton of physics. Like what was your what fascinated you the
Astro.
most? Astrophysics?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, well, I didn't study astrophysics, but in the part of the physics where it's explained about the universe, the planets and the stars and anything about the universe, I like it. I like it very much.
Bro, you speak in my language, dude. Just before the show earlier, I was listening to a lecture by Dr. Brian Cox talking about the temperance of time.
Oh,
Yeah, I love it.
interesting.
I'm all about physics, especially astrophysics. I Neil deGrasse Tyson, all those guys. I listen to all of it. Michio Kaku, I love them.
Oh, well, I do have a book actually about Neil deGrasse Tyson. The book name is Astrophysics for the People in a Hurry, or yeah,
I
yeah,
was
that's the
just gonna
book.
tell you that I have that book myself, dude. Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. It's a great read, dude.
Yeah, it is a great read, and I love it. I finished it and explained. I actually learned a lot from that book, to be honest.
It's probably one of the better ones out there. Have you read Stephen Hawking's A Brief History of Time?
Um, no, I not like I didn't listen to Steve Hawking a lot, to be honest.
Not a
He was
fan of
into the
his?
quantum. He was into the quantum physics, correct?
He dealt with the astrophysics more than the quantum, but when he started discovering the anomalies and the paradox of black holes, then he had to dive into the quantum, and that's how he came up with Hawking radiation.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Now I remember. Now, yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's correct. Yeah,
I don't know too much about too much in life, but I love the physics, man. It's just something I've always enjoyed, dude.
you know, speaking about the physics, like that's what I wanted to be back in the day, as a major or as a degree to have astrophysics.
What happened? How come you're not a physicist now?
Well, I tell you what happened. So the problem is that um, when I graduated from high school, or almost graduating from high school, I wanted to be an astrophysicist, right? And the problem is that this type of university, it was not located in Kuwait or located in Egypt or in the Middle East. Well, most of the Middle East, to be honest. It was located, the one I wanted, it was located in Germany, in Munich, right?
Oh,
Or Munich, or whatever you want to call it, right?
right.
Um, so it was there, and I really wanted to study that field, the astrophysics. But the problem is, my father, he was like, "Well, Yusuf, what are you gonna do with that degree when you graduate? Like, is that gonna give you money? How are we gonna get? How are we gonna live? You know, like, how are you gonna live from that? Is it really giving a lot of money?" I was like, "Well, I believe so. Yes. If you go to a research labs, like maybe you work for NASA, or maybe you work for SpaceX,
Hell, you could even
or
go
some
work for
places
a
like that.
university and get grants. I mean, all kinds of things.
Yeah, you can do that. Like, you can literally do a lot of things." And I was really, really loving anything about the Astro, and I was in love with anything about the universe. But he was like, "Youssef, I don't think that's gonna give you enough money. I don't know what is that. Like, what is that gonna do to you? What is that gonna benefit to you?" I was like, "Dad, just let me do it." It's like, how am I like gonna get like, how am I sure that you're not gonna fail, or am I gonna spend my money on something that is not gonna really be effective to you? Because I don't understand it, right? And so I was like, no, I'll be fine. Then he was like, okay, I mean, whatever you need, I will support it. But then that time comes, and then my father said, uh, I don't have money that time because there was some problems that time, so we didn't have money, so I can go to Germany and
Mm-hmm.
learn. So I had to go to Egypt to the Canadian International College there and choose my major, which is going to be information technology.
So that was your second choice, huh?
Correct.
Okay, well, at least you got to make the second choice, right? It wasn't given to you.
Yeah. The second choice was like my choice, and it's a very interesting field because I like computers and stuff. That's you know.
Right on. It's crazy, isn't it? Like how the words of one person can change your whole life forever. Like if he would have said, "No problem, let's send you to Munich so that you can study physics," you could have had a whole different life. You don't even know where you'd be right now. You know, crazy how life takes you on these weird paths.
Exactly. And
And again, had you gone to
it's
Munich, you and
yeah.
I may have never met, bro.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll be like studying 24 hours because study is super hard there.
Of
I wouldn't
course.
even touch the 5M community. I would have never touched that, you know?
Oh, we're gonna get into the 5M community here in a little bit. We haven't even cracked that oyster open yet, buddy. So, you go into school, studying IT. You just graduated, right?
Yeah, I graduated like on February.
Yeah, that's right, bro. Dude, big congratulations, man. I'm super happy for you, man.
Thank you. Thank you really much. Thank you
So, do you
so
have any
much.
do you have any cool job prospects lined up? Or are you still looking?
So basically I'm looking currently to find a job in the US at the moment,
Oh,
which
you're
is my
coming
top
over
priority.
here,
Yeah, dude, I'm coming over there. I want to
bro.
really go there, you
You
dude.
better come over here and give me a big old Youseff hug, bro.
Yeah, dude, I will give you the biggest hug you'll ever know. You
I'll
will
cook us
get
some
out of.
dinner and we'll have a good time.
Dude, you gotta be the chef. No freaking way, dude. I
Yeah, dude, I'm
would
gonna
like
cook
to
for
eat
you
with your
personally,
hands.
Broski. You better get over here, man.
Oh, well, that's an honor. Just eating from the chef himself in his house. That's gonna be great.
Oh, come on, dude. Anything for a friend, man. Like we've known each how long? We've known each other for over a year, haven't we?
Yeah, about a year, I guess. Yeah.
We there were days that we spent a lot of time. There were weeks and months that we spent a lot of time together.
Yeah, pretty much. It's all around the 5M community.
So, what piqued your interest back in the day in science? What was it that opened your eyes when you were like, "That's really cool"? Like, what was your first
Um,
exposure to science?
it wasn't math, right?
Hmm.
It was not that, right? It was something else. It was so basically when I was 13 years old, right? Or maybe 10 years old, who knows, right? I was like I was like wondering, and every time I look up in the sky, I see like small dots up in the sky. And every time I travel with the plane, I was like, Father, what is that through the window? Like, what is this up there? You know? It was like, that's stars. I was like, oh, so what is a star? You know, I was like confused. I was
Yeah.
like, what the hell is a star? And he was like, it is just stars. It's just things up there that shine and comes at night. It is like basically like how the sun is, but too far away. Because since it's too far away, it's small. I was like, oh, so this is like multiple suns. He was like, yeah, it is. And there was like a funny story in the plane that time. I was like sitting and I see like some dots on the screen, right? There's like many TVs all over the place on the plane, right?
Hmm.
And I thought that the stars is like the points where the plane goes through. You know how you draw something?
Yeah. That's cute. Yeah.
I wa- yeah, I was like, is that what moving the plane? Yeah, that's what it probably is. Let me make sure and ask Dad. And then I was like, I got shot down immediately. I was like, oh, I thought it was something else, you know?
If you're not getting the education for for science and whatnot, and the way you want to learn. How do you learn about that as somebody growing up
Um,
in Kuwait?
it was the technology. What I mean by that is when I was like about 13 years old, I got the first technology, touchable can technology, like a tablet, right?
Okay.
I got it from my uncle. Yeah, my uncle bought it for me because I got a good grades in my school, right? And it was like a Samsung Tab 3. It was like a it's not really old, touch screen tab, and it was like something great. It was something amazing, and it was like a revolution things back in the day, like Samsung Tab, touchable screen, you could play on it. And the first thing I did when I opened that tablet was I opened Google, right, and I searched planets, Mars. That was the first thing I opened
No
when
way.
I. Yep, that's the first thing because
That's
it
awesome.
matched my interest.
That's so cool, man. So growing up over there, especially in an Islamic based country, is the internet structured in a way that you can't get to certain websites, or is it pretty much open for everybody?
No, it's open. There's no dictating here. It's not like China or some other places like that.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about that. Born in
Uh-huh.
Egypt, grown up in Kuwait, raised under the Islamic faith. What first off, what language do you speak, bro? Like
Arabic,
what's your
yes,
Arabic? Okay, so Arabic is your first language.
pretty much. And there's different dialect between Arabic nations, like how Spanish or like Spanish countries, like Cuba or Mexico or Puerto Rico or this place. They all speak Spanish, but different dialect. Same here for the Arabic countries.
Now, with the religious part, do you observe all the customs of your religious faith?
What do you mean by that?
I guess some Muslims don't eat certain meats. Some Muslims, they pray at certain times of the day, facing Mecca or whatever it is. Do you have any of that you do?
Oh, oh yeah. I mean, it's all one religion, right? So it's
Right.
like here we do the same thing. There's not like Islam, some other type of Islam. There's only one Islam, right?
Okay. Well,
And
like here we have Christianity, right? But then you have
yeah,
Baptist and you have Catholic and you have, the
yeah, yeah,
Protestants and some. But for the Islamic faith, it's all just basically centered on one doctrine. Yes.
pretty much. And but we do have something which is like how you said the Catholic and that and this types. We have something. It's very small, and it's called the Shia, right? Probably there's more, but you never hear about that because the main one is the Sunnah, which is going to be the one main religion here, which is the most common here, or that's how the Muslim has described, you know. Um, which is like everybody, it's like normally you just fast in Ramadan. By the way, it's Ramadan right now.
It is Ramadan.
And
I was gonna say Happy Ramadan, man.
yeah, thank you. Just fast during the day. You pray 5 times a day. You don't eat pork. You don't drink alcohol. Um, and that's Islam. You do the good things as best as possible. Have the most respectful manners, and be good to people, and do good deeds and give poor people money and all that. Good deeds as best as you could, and pray to God 5 times a day. Just gonna be like a mandatory thing, the praying part. And on Friday, we'll go to the mosque. I
Ah,
mean, we're supposed to go to the mosque every day, 5 times to the mosque, but the Friday is like how you go to the church on Sunday.
right, right. We're right now here in America, or for like the Christian faith, we're doing the Easter thing.
Hmm.
And so right now we're in the middle of Lent, where you go 40 days without, you have to give up something for Lent, to show that you're a pious person and that you have strong will. You know what I mean? That's what we've got. You know what I mean? So you've heard of Mardi Gras here in America?
Mart ego.
Mardi Gras. It's a big party that they
Mardi.
have. Yeah, it's on a Tuesday, and it marks the day before Lent. So everybody goes and they party and they drink and they get wasted and they have a bunch of sex and they do whatever because the next day is Lent and you have to give up something and you have to go to church and you have to do just like it reminded me a lot of Ramadan where you fast. You show, you don't drink alcohol. You focus on good deeds. It's kind of the same. It's funny
Yeah, pretty
how
much.
there's two different cultures, and you and I are on opposite sides of the world. And I'm not a religious dude, but I was raised in the Catholic faith. And when you look at it, dude, you and me, we're exactly the same, man. We grow up, we have hopes and dreams. You know, our religions are almost the same. If the religious people heard me say that, they'd kill me. You know what I mean? Because we have this weird thing in America where if you're Muslim or whatever, you're evil, and I've never understood where that comes from. Like,
Oh, so it was like I'll tell you that like it's all in a long short, like way of confusion and all that. Back in the day, in 2000, 15, 2000, or even the 9/11 or whatever, during this times, um, there used to be a group of people called ISIS, right?
oh yeah.
And some terroristic people that they were originally coming from, somewhere like Afghanistan or Iran or somewhere like that, somewhere here, in the desert or whatever the hell.
Hmm.
And they were getting bombs and blowing themselves up, whatever the hell, and just saying that we're Muslims, we're doing this for the Islam and all that. Which the truth is, they're not actually Muslims. They are not. They're not at all. They just undercover under that name, right? But they are
Really?
not Muslim. Muslim doesn't blow themselves up. Muslim doesn't piss somebody off. Even if you hurt me, like if you talk trash to me, my Islam recommend me to not answer back and speak good to you. That's what Islam is teaching us, like manners and be good to your neighbors and stuff like that. Not like when I see a Christian, it's like, oh my God, that's a Christian, let's go kill. No, fuck no. Like that's not how it. Islam is. Islam means peace. That's not peace. You know what I'm saying? Like what the
Yeah.
hell they were doing? That's not peace. So they are basically people under the religion name. They're basically terrorists. You
So
don't really put.
what would you say to the people that say like I hear it a lot where they're like, oh, the Quran is a book of hate and it teaches what's the word, jihad. There's none of that,
So
huh?
well, jihad means fighting for your own country. Like basically, if there is an enemy coming to your country to invade it, for example,
Hmm.
you stand in the front line as a soldier, right? You get drafted pretty much, right? And you basically fight that soldier back because you fight your enemy back because that's called jihad. You're protecting your people and you're protecting your religion, right? Like you're protecting your culture. You
Sure.
just fight them back. That's called jihad. Jihad is not like no go and kill random people and innocent people. That's not jihad. That's completely wrong. That's
So
that's the whole false news about it.
so that's really what it is then. It's the way that the news spins it to scare us.
Pretty much.
Isn't that nuts? Like I said, we're two
It
very
is
different
nuts.
people doing two very different things on two very different parts of this globe, but we're really just the same, dude.
Pretty
Like,
much on the other side of the world, right? We're too far. We misunderstand some stuff sometimes. It happens. Same here. Some people think that the American people or the European people are like evil people. They are cruel people. They just like want to make chaos all over the place. They are monsters, or
really?
they don't
They
have
really?
yeah dignity. They are just like uh, uh, dirty people or they're stupid people or something like yeah. There's like no, dude, they're not bad people. I met a lot of people from the U.S. and they're pretty cool, dude, and they help you a lot. And some religious dude, they're pretty good dude, and some people that I would like to meet them in person. They're not bad as you think. It's like no, they're bad. They're bad. It's like no, dude, I met them myself. I spoke to them myself, and many of them, they're not as bad as you think. There is bad people here, and there's bad people there, and there's good people here, and there's good people there. That's how the world is.
Yeah, the same wherever you go, right? It's
Yeah,
been that way since the beginning of time.
yeah, pretty much.
So, as a Muslim, is the Quran your book, like we have the Bible, or do you guys incorporate the
Pretty
Bible
much.
into your studies as well? Does that have nothing to do with your religion at all? The Bible.
Uh, the Quran is our book for sure. Yeah,
Hmm.
and the Bible was actually mentioned in the Quran, and Jesus was mentioned in the Quran, and the other religions were also, which is the Jew religion, was
Uh
also
huh.
mentioned in the Quran. Moses and Abraham and all the messengers. all mentioned in the Quran.
So Islam is still an Abrahamic religion, right? Like Abraham is still a key figure there, right?
Technically, yes, it is. But the complete messenger was it's gonna be Muhammad, peace upon him, which is gonna be the last messenger, which is gonna be the legacy that continue the legacy of this comes with the Islam.
So how do the Muslim folks feel about the figure of Jesus as far as history goes? Was he just a historical figure, or was he a messenger or a prophet as well? I don't know. I'm asking you.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, so Jesus in our religion, right, in Islam, Jesus is a prophet that had no father but had a mother, which is Maria, right? And he was a prophet with special miracles, which is powers. He can go to the life the undead, what is it? The
Oh,
life
resurrect.
people from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
yeah, rise them from the grave and stuff. He used to um, heal the blind people. The people had some problems in the skin. Um, he used to know things that normal human being couldn't know, like, oh, I know what's in your room, and I didn't even go into your house, and for damn sure he knows he didn't go into his house, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and things like that. Miracles that God give him, right? Or maybe like making a mud in the shape of a bird, and then suddenly he blow to the mud, and then it becomes bird and flies. Things like that. Like God give him a lot of miracles, which some people thought was like, oh, he's a god, and he was
Uh,
like, no, I'm not a god. Things like that. And people were praying to him. And it was like, no, I'm not a god. I'm a messenger. I'm here to deliver the message from God that there is a God and there is a religion that you have to follow,
I
right?
think I think he even
And
said that
yeah,
in the Bible to some lady where he's like, "Don't pray to me, sister. Go pray to God. That's my
go to
father
yeah,
too."
yep. That's all of our God. We all pray to the same God. Like why would a God? That's in our religion, right? Why would a God have a son or have a wife or a god that is no near than a human being, like no near than a human being.
Let's mix religion and science
Mhm.
with one of my
Okay,
favorite things, a little bit of conspiracy
perfect,
theory. You ready?
perfect.
I watched this documentary the other day, bro, about, and of course I don't believe it, but it was fun to watch. I like to watch some of the kooky conspiracy stuff. And they're saying like a lot of the stuff that's in the Quran or in the Torah or in the Bible is really like when they say angels, they're really talking about like aliens and UFOs from other planets. Have you ever heard anything like that?
I believe I did hear like that. I mean, to be honest, I don't say I'm not saying I don't believe in aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Aliens could technically exist because in even in Quran, these God said that He created what we know and what we don't know. So who knows what's out there, you know?
That's true.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and he did create aliens. No, sorry, he did create angels.
Mm-hmm.
That's also part of our religion, like angels. They have a lot of stories and stuff, and they're part of our life, like
The
pretty much.
the Catholics and the religious folk also are very big into like spirits and spirituality. Do you I don't know about the Islamic faith, but do you believe in ghosts?
In Ghost, well, yeah, but not like in Ghost, like that comes up with a white towel on his face, is like, ooh, like no,
Right, right.
that's not the Ghost, that's not the one I'm talking about. Like there's like Satans and demons and some goblins and stuff, but they are not like you can't see them. They're like they can see you, but we cannot see them. They can affect us, but we might. It depends. Um, like it's like they have their own world. They have their own living styles. There is Muslims, there is Christians in them, and there is like genies. Have you heard about the genies?
Yeah, the jinn, right?
Yeah, the jinn. Yeah, pretty much. It's also mentioned in the Quran like that. Jinns have their own lives. Even there's some religious people in their tribes. Some of them are Muslims. Some of them are Jews. Some of them are Christians. They have kings. They have countries. Things
Uh-huh.
like that. Same as us, but they see us. We don't see them.
Interesting, man. So for the listeners out there, explain like the jinn or the genie idea. Like, how does that translate with the Quran? Are there stories of the jinn and the genie doing like what we
Yeah,
know them to be doing?
Yeah, there is many stories about them. Like I remember there used to be a prophet called Sulaiman. He used to be a big king. He historical by the history. Sulaiman is one of the four one of the four people in the world that ever controlled the whole world with his armies and his nation. Like there's like four people that control the world,
Hmm.
and nobody else controlled the world after them ever. Because they were like big people, like they were like not big people, like big armies, big nations,
Sure.
and Sulaiman was like a prophet from God, and he was one of the people who controlled the world. God got him human to serve him, and animals and genie. Genie used to serve him too, like build him houses or fight for him or things like that. It used to be stories like that. It's also mentioned in the Quran that there used to be stories like that back in the day.
I guess that makes sense since the tale of the genie came from Scheherazade, right? Like the 40 thieves and all of that stuff. Weren't those like the tales? Those were all those stories were based out of like the Middle East.
Yeah, basically come take a wish. Three, only have three wishes and stuff like that, and like yeah, genies used to do something like that, but not like get whatever you want really, but they used to serve people back in the day, like super back, like thousands and thousands of years ago, many years ago,
Crazy,
who
man.
knows when.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so you're out in the working force, you're living your life. How do you discover video games?
So how I discovered video games. So as the beginning, that's actually dragging how I learned English, right?
Through video
So
games.
yeah, video games. So I found video games since I got my Tab 3, right? Back in when I was 13 years old. I used to play Minecraft a lot, right? And then I started to mix with people, online games. Internet was shitty, I'm not gonna lie. It was bad. It was really bad. Um, but it was fine. It was going. And I used to play Minecraft, online players, meet people, type in the chat. My English was horrible, horrible, horrendous. It was bad, right? And then I started to learn it. People taught me English one by one. I started learning it by myself. I didn't learn English in school. I didn't learn it in college. I learned it by myself through all these years.
They don't teach you
Speaking
English in
and
school, huh?
typing. Nope. Well, we learned it, but I didn't get the same benefit as how I am sitting on a laptop or sitting on a online tablet.
Sure, sure. So, for the listeners that don't know, Yusuf and I met each other playing a video game called 5M, where you basically live another life in the Grand Theft Auto world. Um, at the time, I was Spicy, a podcaster, and he was a sheriff at a police station. And I was all interested in doing some of that police work. Never done it before, so I applied to be a cop in the little video game world, and he brought me in and taught me the ropes, and we've been buddies ever since, dude. How did you discover 5M? What led you there?
That's a very good question. Now, 5M support a lot of roleplay experience. Like you want to be a doctor, you want to be a cop, you want to be a crim, you want to be a business owner, you want to be whatever you want. You can roll with it in the server. Now, when I always wanted to become police officer in Egypt, right? And when I was there, like I wanted to become a police officer when I graduated from college. Maybe um, become a police officer. But the problem is, being a police officer there is not the best thing. And everybody works under the Minister of Interior and then the president right away. So basically, everybody works under one person. So the system there was even not that good. I don't like the
Hmm.
system. The system was a little bit dictating type of deal.
Okay.
So I learned about the law of the U.S. I found about it. I found the police. Then I found the 5M. Like I found the 5M community that it have all the policing and being a doctor. Oh, people pulling each other over, and you're driving a vehicle, a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or driving a Toyota or something, or a Silverado, driving vehicles on the game. Oh, damn, you're driving real life vehicles. That's actually cool. And that one of the things that dragged me into it. You could walk around, like I could have your life. You could talk to people. That's what dragged me into that. Then my thing was like, oh, you could actually be a cop. I want to know how cop experience is, like a U.S. cop experience. And from there, I learned about it, and I became a nerd, a um, big fan of the American law and the Constitution.
All because of the game.
All because of the game.
So what brought you to 5M specifically? Like, where did you find out that existed?
YouTube, pretty much. I was like, my brother, to be honest.
Oh,
My
really?
brother, he used to watch this videos that we used to play GTA on Xbox and stuff. And then he's seen like a video on YouTube. It's like, oh, Youseff. I was like, what? I was like, look, how the hell are you driving Ferraris and stuff like that in GTA? I was like, I don't know. How is that possible? How can you do that?
Yeah.
And then we started investigating that. I was like, oh, it's actually a service. I was like, oh, that's cool. I want to play that. I was like, well, I don't think you can play that. I was like, why? I was like, you only play that on the PC. You can't play that on Xbox. You need to have to join a server. You have to have an stable internet connection and stuff like that to play on the 5M community, right?
Yeah.
Can you even speak English? I was like, no. Well, so what the hell you got to do there,
But you got it to
So that
work,
was
man.
like-
You worked it out.
Pretty much.
That's awesome, man. Those were some days, bro. We've had a lot of fun together. I have always loved working with you. It was the best part of my day was when you logged in, dude, and we could go out and have some fun. And we had some adventures, dude. You and me chasing Agent Smith.
Oh, yeah. Holy. That was a great roleplay experience we had before.
So, for somebody who was kind of kept to himself and didn't really go out much, didn't really socialize, you told me before the show that your dad was kind of a quiet dude, kind of kept to himself. How did you find your first roleplay experience? Was it hard for you to get what was going on, or did you just kind of take right to it?
So my my dad, yes, indeed, he is like a very very quiet father.
Mhm.
He's like more of the more like a the more type of disciplined person because that's how he grew up. He grew up in hard times and stuff like that, and not in the biggest financial time. He used to work a lot even since he was a kid, so he was more disciplined into things and more quiet. It doesn't like we don't have the best relationship. Like it's not a bad relationship or anything. It's not like we hate each other, but like it's like there's no connectivity between each other, like how me and my mom is.
Sure.
So it's like but the more I grow older, the more my connectivity with him is like grows with it, because he's like, oh, well, now I'm talking to a man, like
Sure,
now
I
I gotta
get
sit
that.
down and talk to him more and more,
Yeah. I guess the question is, if you were kind of not really social around school, you kind of kept to yourself, and you weren't really
Yeah.
social at home, how
Yeah.
did you find the role play experience? You're thrust into where you have to be social all the time. Was it hard for you to adjust and become that character, or did you have some trouble with that at first?
No, because the thing is, right now I'm talking to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way I talk in English, it feels like I've been socializing for years and years. Because I've been talking to people in English for many years, but back in the day, I didn't like talking to the people who spoke my language really because sometimes they know it better than me for some reason. Like I feel like I can speak English better than my language, to be honest with you, right? And it feels like the people in the Middle East here, they don't share the same mindset as how the Western civilization, which in my opinion, it fits me more, which is the Western civilization. Like talking to you, talking to other American people, I find it like I blend more with them. I find it fun. I find it more relaxing, more vibing, more interesting to talk to them because I feel like we share the same mindset. I feel like like I feel I belong there or something, like things like that.
Well, get
So
your ass
that's why I
over
didn't
here, bro.
socialize. Yeah, like that's why I didn't socialize in school. Like because I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. The moment I go to school until I go back home, I don't say a single word. I don't even say hi to anybody. I
Really?
just stay silent, take my lesson, I just go back home.
You were the
That's it.
quiet kid in school.
Pretty much. I was the quiet kid, the scary quiet kid.
I the scary quiet kid. All the kids in the corner, don't fuck with Youseff, dude.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was the opposite, dude. I was the joker and the class clown. I could get the teacher to laugh. It was great.
Oh, the bully maybe too. Yeah, were you the bully?
I was never the bully, dude. I've always been the guy that roots for the underdog. If you see someone getting picked on, I want to go stand up for that little guy. If
Oh,
if
that's actually cool.
if somebody came up and said, "Hey, look at this guy over here. He's not going to make it as a podcaster. He's not going to be as good as you and Fatsy and do the shows that you do." I'm going to go help that guy get as good as he can be to prove that other guy wrong. You know what I mean? I want to lift people up, dude.
Yeah, that's a great thing. That's a great thing
I've
from
never
you.
been a bully. There's no reason for that. I got 3 kids, bro, and it's so nice to see my little spicies all being just good humans. They help out. They open the door for their mom. They clean up around the house. They're just good little bros.
Hell yeah, that's the way you should raise your childrens. That's the way to go.
That's what I'm saying, man. There's no reason to be a bully, especially in school. When what I found out, dude, is the bullies were the ones that were scared the most.
Pretty much.
They
I
they
think
had
so.
something
Yeah,
going on and they were freaked out and they didn't want people to see how weak they were, so they had to put on a tough front and beat up people that were smaller than them. Made them feel
pretty
better.
much.
It's stupid, but whatever, man. That's not
It
me.
is.
I couldn't see you being like that. I think you're like a
No.
really good dude. Listen, man, we're getting to the end of this conversation. We're just running up on an hour. It went so fast, bro. I could talk to you for like 3 more hours, man. Um,
Holy.
but listen, dude, I wanted to tell you that I've been dying for this episode to happen. I've been dying for us to sit down and have this chat. I consider you one of my very good friends. I'm very thankful that you're in my life, bro. I can't wait for you to get to the States. And when you get here, you can apply to be a cop, right?
Yeah, well, first I need to get my citizenship first,
Oh, yeah.
and
If
then
there's
hopefully I
anybody
pursue
out there
my
that wants to
degree.
marry Youssef, he's a good looking dude. Get him his green card. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Yeah, I really want to be a cop there. As I said, I like the law there, and it's really my dream to pursue. And here you go. That's the first step I'm trying to look for. Look for a job.
All right, bro. Well, listen, thank you for coming on Behind the Pint with Spicy. Let's have you back again
Thank
sometime
you.
and we'll get an update on your life, dude. We'll see how it's going. Once you get to America or however that works out, we'll get you back and we'll check in.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
All right, bro. Listen, guys, thank you for joining me and my special guest, Youssef, for another episode of Behind the Pint. We're going to release these on YouTube as soon as they come out. I've got a lineup of guests. I've just got to get some of this technical crap worked out. Honestly, folks, I'm surprised I got it working today. But until next time, I'm Spicy. The bar is closed.